Hi, this is Annette Vernon. Can the organizers of this call?
Hi, everyone. This is Lauren Applegate from the Partner Marketing team. We'll get started in just a minute. Okay, thank you all so much for joining. So my name is Lauren Applegate. I'm from the Partner Marketing team, and we are so excited to have our special guest speakers here today. So we have Annette Vernon, and then Kurt Smith is also going to be joining us shortly. Kurt and Annette head up all the content strategy for all of Dreamforce, and they have some really great insights to share on some of the key themes for this year and what you can do to really make the most of your content session at Dreamforce. So I have everybody muted. I want you to feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we can address them as we're going through. And if you'd like to, if you prefer to save your questions for the end, we can also address some questions over the phone towards the end of the hour. So we will go ahead and pass it to Annette to get started.
All right. Uh-oh. Hey, Lauren, can you guys see my screen at this point?
I can't see it yet, but we just gave you the access.
Can you try it again? I think I lost that pop-up.
Oh, sure, give us 1 second.
Yep, sorry. Okay. There we go. Lauren, can you guys see my screen at this point?
We can see it now. Thanks, Annette.
Yay! All right, Dreamforce 2014, welcome sponsors. As you all know, we can't do this without you. We're thrilled to have so many of you join us on the call today. We've got a brief overview of content in general and some overall tips. And I believe this is the first of at least a couple of calls that we will do with our sponsors. Yes?
That's correct.
Great. Here at Salesforce, and many of you may know this, we have our vision and values here, and we don't do much of anything without some overall insight into what we're trying to produce. So our content strategy for this year, I'm going to read this because it's a pretty powerful statement. Our vision is to produce the most innovative and inspiring content in our industry so that our global events attendees connect, share, learn, and experience everything Salesforce has to offer. We'll continue evolving our content so that it impacts pipeline, supports our brand, and contributes to incredible on-site and online experiences. A pretty powerful statement, and we feel pretty confident that we can accomplish most of this with values that support our vision of being inspirational. We want people to leave Dreamforce so inspired that they do great things. We want Dreamforce to be as personalized as possible with the number of sessions that we'll offer, the number of people that will be at Dreamforce, the number of venues. It's very easy to get lost in a crowd of thousands, but we're going to attempt to really bring Dreamforce into a much more, bring the content to a deeper place and to make everyone feel that they got exactly what they needed from our content. And we innovate. We are looking at delivering content in different ways that might suit different sorts of learning styles. And the hex shape structure from last year was probably the most amazing thing that I have seen grace Howard Street ever. So let's take just a quick look back at Dreamforce 2013. There's a lot of numbers on this slide, but it represents an incredible amount of work from a very small team of content leaders and a huge team of session owners and, of course, our sponsors. We hosted 1,240. Is there a question?
Sorry, Annette. We're not seeing the slides move forward. Can you make sure? Are you in presentation mode? Are you advancing the slides?
I am.
Okay. I think sometimes. Oh, there it is. Okay. Better? Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you for that note. How about if I show you that? The recording will be posted so that you guys have a chance to take a look at this and dive in deeper if you wish. Hopefully my reading of the vision was effective for you. Here are some key takeaways from Dreamforce 2013 as far as our breakout sessions are concerned. We hosted 1,247 sessions, which represented a huge increase, 42% increase from the number of sessions we offered the previous year. 3,500 speakers, a majority of them came from our customer base, 72 rooms at 10 different locations in the Dreamforce campus. We had well over 348,000 total seats. That's basically the room capacity times the number of sessions that we offered over the course of Dreamforce. Sessions per day, Monday and Wednesday were the big days. Obviously Tuesday with Mark's keynote and the afternoon keynote kind of kept us from offering as many sessions as we might have on Monday or Wednesday. And Thursday tends to be a lighter day because it ends much earlier, and that's really the only general reason. Our average satisfaction score was about a 4.1, but it is noteworthy that the average sponsor session score was much lower, at a 3.5. And what Kurt and I and the rest of the content team would like to do over the course of these calls with you is to offer you some suggestions, some tips, and some ideas on how you as a sponsor can raise your score, your satisfaction with our attendees. To give you an idea of what happened while attendees were at Dreamforce, nearly half of our attendees went to 5 or fewer sessions. We offered almost 20 sessions over the course of 4 days, and nearly half of our attendees only went to 5. They were pretty selective when it came to how they spent their time, so sessions had to be pretty compelling and pretty match what they had intended Dreamforce to be for them. We did have some really very, very exuberant attendees. We had 145 attendees that went to 15 or more sessions. They basically consumed every possible entree that we put out on that smorgasbord table. So what are we going to do in Dreamforce 2014? How's it going to look different? For those of you that were with us in 2013, the campus looks similar. There is one major addition to the campus this year, and it is right about here. This is the Westfield Mall on between Market and Mission Street. There are theaters that are operated by the Century chain, and we are going to offer content in these movie theaters. So just imagine your attendees seated in one of those fabulous stadium chairs with great sound, great projection capabilities, and probably some popcorn somewhere along the way. But the rest of the campus looks a lot like it has in the previous years. From the Palace to the Westin Market Street and the Westin St. Francis to all of the local hotels right around Moscone West and north and south. Here's our prescription for success. This is what we've shared with our Salesforce.com session owners. So you're getting this in the same way that our internal people are. We are looking to offer core sessions multiple times. We got a lot of feedback from attendees that they were frustrated by the number of sessions that we offered and finding themselves really wanting just 4 or 5 sessions, but sometimes those sessions were offered against each other. And then the conundrum, what do I do? What do I do? So we've talked with our content leaders, our session owners, and our speakers, and we are going to have more core sessions that we offer 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. We expect that this will help increase quality and really make the event easier for an attendee to get the content that they want. We're going to downsize our sessions. We, in the past, have offered 40-minute sessions. I'm sorry, 60-minute sessions, but we're going to begin offering 40-minute sessions. In this day and age, when everyone is distracted by all sorts of, claims on their time, whether it's their iPhone or someone sitting next to them or where they're headed to next, we really feel that a more concise and condensed session will work better. We've been trialing this session duration at our Salesforce One World Tours, and it has been really, really successful. We do believe that we can trim some of the extraneous content from our presentations and really get to the heart of the presentation much more quickly and effectively. We'll start on the hour and on the half hour, so this will reduce the ringing of the bell and all sessions getting out at the top of the hour and having tens of thousands of people pouring into the hallways throughout the campus. We will also see more time to get from one venue to another. With the campus as geographically dispersed as it is, we do need to allow our attendees plenty of time to get from one venue to another. We're going to deliver content in a new way at Dreamforce. We've done this a little bit, but we're going to expand our offering of zones and theaters. For anyone that attended Dreamforce and had the opportunity to participate or experience the developer zone on the second floor of Moscone West, think along those lines, where there's much more interaction going on. There are smaller, more intimate settings for attendees, and we're delivering content in slightly different ways. That it is, it's small peer groups rather than one expert in the front of the room talking at a group of people. It's really about talking with people, with an expert with your peers, and we know that that will really deepen the learning that an attendee will take away. And it's kind of cool. I've got some pictures here that I'll show you. It really does reinforce the Dreamforce tone, the brand, and the vibe that we have around our event. And it is what attendees, it is what adults want when it comes to learning new things. We are looking at an alternative scheduling methodology. We will continue to use Agenda Builder, but rather than allowing sessions to fill completely, we're going to allow half of the session to be reserved, and then the other half will be walk-in. We've had a lot of angst that gets created because attendees think that all of the sessions are sold out and there's nothing for them to attend at Dreamforce, when all of the data that we have indicates just the opposite. There is almost 95% of the time there's a seat in a session, but it looked sold out. So we're going to help remedy that false perception and help people get the content that they want. Internally, and we hope to be able to deploy some of these tools to our sponsors and our customer speakers as well. We're developing some speaker resources through a program we're going to call Dreamforce Academy, which will be a way for us to deliver in a very easy to use environment some tips and tricks, not from just myself or from Kurt Smith, but from some of our leading speakers here at Salesforce, from some industry speakers, to help you and your customer speakers be even better than you already are. We are planning a speaker incentive program here within Salesforce, and maybe it makes sense to see if we can't extend that to our sponsor speakers. Well, stay tuned for that. And we are upgrading our video strategy, both streaming and on demand. The plan this year is to stream hundreds of sessions rather than just video capture them and post them on YouTube. It means the Dreamforce experience becomes much more, right to your desktop rather than being limited to you being personally in attendance. So what's new other than really cool shoes from Mr. Benioff? Salesforce is going really, really big on industries. We are featuring our industry partners and solutions in the Gateway Ballroom of Moscone South. It will, it should really draw in an enormous amount of energy and interest from partners as well as customers looking for specific solutions and approaches to their day-to-day problems. You heard earlier that we are going to implement more theaters and zone sessions. Here are some renderings and pictures of zones and theaters kind of at work. Small work groups you can see in the upper left where there's just a semi, kind of an arc-shaped table with 4 chairs, actually 7 chairs around it. Imagine 7 people sitting around a table, all with the same challenge, all collaborating on how they might solve that challenge. Demo stations, interactive workshops are all delivery methodologies that we will use at Dreamforce to bring content to people in different ways, keep them very engaged and excited. With 40-minute sessions, we really are suggesting to all of our session owners to limit the number of speakers that you have in your session to 2. It's pretty challenging to have 3 separate customer stories be kind of detailed in a quick really 30-minute time frame. If you allow 10 minutes for Q&A at the end of your session, and you should, then you really want to make sure that the speakers have enough time to dig into the details that your audience is looking for. So we're highly recommending just bring 2 chairs to the table, to the front of your room, and then draw people to meet with you at your booth or outside of your session room to dive into additional content. And the clock will be set at 40 minutes. And folks, I cannot, kind of stress this enough. This doesn't mean that you take your 50-minute session presentation from last year and you try to talk faster or take out a few slides. This is really a rethinking, a re-architecting of your presentation to really hit the high points, hit them hard, hit them quickly, and hit them with impact. It means really grabbing people from your position of authority, pulling them into your content, and keeping them there. And you can really only do that for about 30 minutes. Because I bet if I talked on and on and on for 40 or 50 minutes, you would all tune out. We're trying to keep people engaged. So we're recommending really 30 minutes of content. The bell rings at 40 minutes, and you should have wrapped up and invited people to follow up with you in other ways once the session has concluded. We'd also, we're planning to tag some of our content with the market segment that the content is appropriate to. Is this an SMB session? Is this targeted to a small or medium-sized business? Is this an enterprise type solution? So we'll start asking you this as you submit your session information for your sponsorship package, but do start thinking about maybe targeting it, or at least identifying the target market that your presentation should draw attendees from. This may be a little challenging to read on the screen, but we'll make this template available to all of you in the Exhibitor Resource Center. Some of our content and track leaders here at Salesforce are really starting to view their curriculum, if you will, aligned to the customer or the buyer journey. You might give some thought to, where does my content fit here, and what, at what buying stage am I trying to, kind of insert myself, and kind of make that really clear in your session abstract that that this is targeted toward a particular phase in the overall journey of a customer. Those of you that have worked with us before and had sessions at Dreamforce, we asked you to complete a session plan. It was basically, a one-page summary of how you might spend your time with attendees in a session. We're going to shift that ever so slightly, and we're going to ask you to write a show flow. And what we mean by that is what happens minute by minute by minute in your presentation. What devices are you planning to use? What demos are you planning to show? Highly recommended, by the way. Who are the speakers? We want you to think about changing up the pace, the tone, the visual stimulus of your presentation. We're sitting here on the phone. You guys can't see me, but if you did, you'd be very animated. But at some point in time, you might get a little, I could use a pump up, and it would be probably really effective if right about now I inserted a video or a demo. I will encourage you to think about that sort of flow through your content so that your attendees, when they see something different, a video, they it gives them reason to re-engage and to kind of reconnect with you at the front of the stage. A template for this will be available as well. We've moved. Dreamforce has moved to the success community. And what that means is that you don't have to register for Dreamforce as an attendee to engage with Dreamforce, to engage with people like yourself, to learn about Dreamforce, to help you decide whether it is the right event for you to come to. For sponsors, it means you've got an opportunity to engage with hundreds, thousands of people that may or may not be coming to Dreamforce. So, as a sponsor, what do you do now? If your sponsorship package includes breakout session, you should be thinking about who the owner of your session is going to be. Who's going to be responsible for completing that show flow? Who's really going to position this session in the buyer's journey? Who's going to craft the session abstract so that everyone understands what they can expect when they walk into your session room? Think about your session type, and by that we mean, are you going to feature a customer? Are you going to just have folks at your company speak? Would you prefer a theater presentation, something that was a little more interactive? Take a look at the buyer journey template, the show flow. Think about your market segment. Think about what you can demo in your session. I took a look at some of the most popular and highly rated sponsor sessions from last year, and they had demos in them. People love it's the show me kind of perception. You can tell me a whole lot about your success story, your customer journey, but till you show me, I like the show. I'm from, I'm not from, is Wisconsin the show me state? Think about your customer speakers. Who from your customer base has a compelling success story to share? The most successful sponsor sessions feature customer speakers. Successful sponsor sessions are not advertisements, direct advertisements for your product or your service. They're very indirect. It is reference selling, if you will. Have your customers speak about their journey, why they engaged with you or your product, and what that brought to them in terms of ROI. Those are the compelling stories that attendees want to hear and to see. How's it going to happen? It's going to happen. Here's your timeline. This is a draft, but it does give you an idea of what you might expect as far as deliverables down the road in the next. We are less than 100 days to Dreamforce. Less than 100 days. So there are session benefits, FAQs available to you. We will shortly be launching the session submission form where we will collect all of your session information as well as speaker information. Show flows will be due sometime in early August, mid-August for approval. We will encourage you to add your speakers and to have your speakers register for Dreamforce. We will conduct dry runs, walkthroughs, rehearsals, whatever you want to call them. We believe that practice makes perfect. Mr. Benioff practices many hours for his keynote presentations, and he is consistently rated well above the 4.5 level. So practice really does pay off in the end. Agenda Builder will go live for attendees right around the beginning of September. We've got a target date of the 8th. You should review Agenda Builder. We will be, what I missed up here was a mid-August delivery to all of our speakers of what their session schedule is. It's not in red. It's about midway down. Send a session schedule email to speakers. That includes sponsor speakers as well as the rest of our session speakers. We'll be asking for conflicts if they exist, though our scheduling application is programmed to keep conflicts to avoid conflicts. It's usually another error that gets in the way. But we will lock titles and abstracts right around the middle of September, just so that attendees don't feel that things have shifted underneath them if they have decided to attend your sessions. We'll ask for all slides to be due toward the end of September, and then on the 13th, the trumpets will blare and Dreamforce will kick off for 4 days in glorious downtown San Francisco. And with a hearty smile and a big voice, I say thank you for joining us today, and we can open it up for questions. I'm humbled. I can't believe that I have completely, I think they're all muted.
Hi, Annette. This is Natalie over here on the partner marketing team, and we have a few questions in the chat box. Is it okay if I read them out loud and you can give answers to everybody?
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay. We'll start with, will there be presentation review and feedback before final slides are due?
Absolutely. That's part of the dry run or the walkthrough portion of our content timeline, so absolutely.
Okay, great. The next one is priority given based on when the session information is submitted. For example, 710 will have priority over 722.
And by priority, do you mean when it gets scheduled? In terms of what day?
I don't have details, but I believe so, yes.
We haven't really taken that into consideration when we've scheduled sponsor sessions before. We can certainly, ask for, I think level sometimes has to do with the priority. But I'll leave that to our partner marketing team. If they would like to implement that sort of priority scheme, I am open to implementing it.
Okay, great. So that's something we can talk about with our team offline. And I have a few people asking about the timeline that you just showed. You can find that timeline. This entire call, the recording, will be posted to the ERC. Also on the ERC and the exhibitor tasks are deadlines for each individual deadline related to any of these content tasks.
Great.
So we'll keep going. We have a few more questions.
Of course.
One moment. When will sponsors know the location of their speaking session, and can they select the time and the place?
So they can certainly request, kind of have a preference for a time and place. However, we try to, I wanted to go back to my timeline here. So,
Great, thank you.
No problem. I'm going to shrink this down, this window, so that we can see this. So we expect to start scheduling sessions at the end of this month, probably more like early August. This date here, mid-August, August 18th, send session schedule email to speakers. That's probably the right time frame for us to communicate when the sponsor's session has been scheduled.
Okay, great, fabulous.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Sure.
Will unique PR guidelines for content sessions, so we know how they will be promoted and how they can promote their own content sessions?
We can certainly address that in a follow-on call, and we can add it to the FAQs.
Okay, great. And we have a upcoming sponsor PR call where we can address that as well.
Perfect.
And I have one more question. When will the deadlines for the speaking session tasks be on the ERC? And that should be, I would say, within the next 2 or 3 weeks at the latest.
Yeah. We are dealing with the migration of our content management application from the old org to the new one. So some of the dates here are tentative and could shift based on the status of the migration. So we will amend the dates and hopefully give you as much time as we can once the submission form is available. We don't want it to be wait, hurry up, it's due tomorrow. We'll definitely amend the dates so that there is a good amount of time, but start thinking about them now. Don't wait until the form is available. If you have a session as part of your package, start thinking about it now. If you need to know what you will submit, it's a session title, an abstract, and speaker names. How are you going to spend your 40 minutes? If you have further questions, follow up with us offline.
Okay, looks like we covered all the questions in the chat box. We'll stay on for about 2 more minutes so people can ask any last-minute questions. And of course, as always, this recording will be posted on the ERC.
If there are no more questions, it sounds like people are enjoying having about 25 minutes of their life back. I say again, thank you, and we'll look forward to providing you some additional tips in the coming calls.
Annette, are you still on?
I am.
Do you happen to know the last point that they can change their speaker or session abstract after they've submitted it?
So we'd like for that all to kind of come together before Agenda Builder launches. So by the early part of September, it would be good if we had that locked in. But we know that, you know, sometimes speakers, you know, if a sponsor has a, you know, difficult time confirming a speaker or finding the right speaker in their customer base, or something changes, we can take changes. We just don't want any big radical changes to happen once Agenda Builder goes live.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, that was the last of the questions on the GoToMeeting, so I think we're all set over here, and we will see everyone still on the call on our next sponsor support call. Look for details in the upcoming newsletter.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.